Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our public meeting of planning for Tuesday, May 23rd. Are there any disclosure of conflict of interest? Seeing none, accept the agenda. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the public meeting of planning agenda of Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023.
Thank you, Councillor. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Ratify the minutes of public meeting minutes of March 27th. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Martin, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the minutes of the public meeting of planning of March 27th, 2023.
Thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried, none opposed. Public meeting minutes of April 11th, 2023. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the minute of the public meeting of planning April 11, 2023.
Thank you. Any discussion on the April 11th minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. Again, none opposed. Moving on to zoning amendments, 4A Z07 2023. Welcome, Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So just want to remind Council, we have 4 files this evening, all zoning bylaws, so we're not going to vote on any of them. They're going to be voted at the subsequent meeting. The first one for this evening, zoning bylaw number Z07 2023. The owners for that file, Mr. and Mrs. Schneider, located at 21991 Emma Lane in Glen Robertson. So that's where it is. You see Glen Robertson at the bottom there. And it's the big property just northeast of Glen Robertson. So as you can see in the official plan designation, it's designated as agricultural resource lands, right adjacent to the rural settlement area of Glen Robertson. And that's our zoning map here. So it's zoned half general agricultural and half restricted agricultural, but just to let you know, the difference between general and restricted is simply because all the agricultural lands adjacent to urban or rural settlement areas, we zone them as restricted agricultural, so they cannot have any intensive livestock facilities close to town. That's the only difference in our zoning bylaw. For this file, you can consider everything as agricultural. It makes no difference for severances, though. So that's our zoning. As you can see, aside from Glen Robertson, it's surrounded by ag lands. So the purpose for this application, it's to rezone the retained portion. So I'll show it on the next slide, but just the retained portion from general ag to general agricultural special exception 227 to prohibit residential development as per condition 4 on the consent application. So that's our severance map here, if I can say. So the retained portion is the one that you see there in purple up top. So we're rezoning only that property. So this one is not, the 3 others are, but this one is not the typical prohibit ag, prohibit residential. So both of these properties are large enough to be considered as an agricultural lot. So they're both more than 74 acres. But because the one at the top, so the retained portion, has no direct access on a maintained public roadway, we are prohibiting residential development. But the one at the bottom can still farm, they can keep their residential dwelling and everything. So it's just because it's got no access. Just to remind Council, we did the same thing for at the dead end on La Pensée Lane there. We did the exact same thing. So basically, it's just because there's no access to the lot, technically we cannot create a landlocked property. So as per zoning bylaw and the official plan, we're not permitted to create a landlocked property unless it's an agricultural property that has access via some other means. In this case, so the purpose of the application, I'll show it on the next one here, so right there. So that's just that little finger that you see right at the bottom there. I zoomed in on that. So as you can see, there's already one dwelling on each property. So the one on the finger is the Mr. and Mrs. Schneider's daughter that lives there, and they live on the farm, on the large property. So they're looking to sever it in half to basically create two farms. So the daughter is going to keep the south portion, and the retained portion, which is theirs, they're going to be on, they're going to keep the north portion. So the northern portion will still be cropped, will still be maintained exactly the same as it is now, but because it's landlocked, we have to pass that zoning bylaw amendment. And if you see in my notes, I have it there too. So later this evening, we're gonna pass a resolution that council is in support of that property being landlocked and still being created. So basically, the property still has two access, so they can access this via the Green Road. I think I have a picture, so right there. So that's McCormick that you see on the left-hand side. So it's basically the extension of McCormick, if you will, but it's more of a field entrance. So they can access through there, but they will most likely just keep using that entrance. So that's the entrance to so the daughter lives on the white house that you see right there, and their house is just there on the left in front of that shed. So they're gonna keep that driveway anyways to access the property. We're not creating any legal right-of-way, especially for that house, because it already exists. So we're not touching any of the access, any of the driveway. This is already a shared driveway for the two houses. So basically what we're doing is just allowing that lot to be landlocked and accessible via the Green Road. So at the end of the day, that's what it is. So that's the picture there that you see. Both sides of the field is actually the severed portion, and the retained portion is way up north, so we don't see it. It's really just fields. So just to go back to this one here, so the severed portion on the south side is 76 acres, and the retained portion is 85 acres. So that's why I said earlier, so both portions have more than 74 acres, so they're both considered as agricultural property. So there's no requirement to prohibit any of the agricultural use on either property. So resolution will be passed, and I explained the entrance. We have received no comments from the public, aside from our RCA that submitted a comment for the map watercourse on the property. And so Planning Act, we're allowed to pass such bylaw, and the PPS and the official plan pretty much say the same thing. If council is in support of such law creation, it can be passed. And so based on the criteria above, proposed zoning amendment conforms to the PPS, conforms to the SDG official plan, consistent with PPS, and it's compliant with our zoning bylaw. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Jacob, and I'll ask the clerk to call 3 times.
Does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application this evening? Second time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application this evening? And a third and final time?
Nope. Okay, any questions from members of council? Go ahead, Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jacob, in the previous committee we had last week, I think, or the week before, there was discussion that we have problems with, not just this one, but like the one, they're not surveyed. Is that something, a condition that we could potentially in the future, so we can start to have all these properties surveyed properly, or?
Yes, every consent application that an owner does, one of the condition is that they do a survey for both properties. So every zoning that we pass to prohibit and blah, 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 it's all being surveyed. So that's good, yeah, but.
So now they'll be properly.
Yeah, but you're right though, and like a lot of properties don't have a survey, so that's why every time someone applies for that, it's one of the conditions that they have to do one, yeah.
Any further questions or comments? Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, there's kind of a lot going on in this application in the sense that, like, the northern part, we're mixing sort of agricultural and residential in one area, and then the northern part is going to be not allow any residential at all without an entrance and all that. And I just wonder if we're, the people who own that property and live there right now are not going to be living there forever, and then there's going to be other people who are either going to want to buy it or whatever the case may be. And are we limiting the use of that property by doing that, and is that smart planning? I guess that's my question.
So I guess at the end of the day, the owner decides how he wants to split his property. I was on site with the owner myself and like discussed many options. They're totally aware that they're, I guess, not blocking or like they're prohibiting themselves for any future development. The owners are aware for the situation as it is, so they live right there and their daughter, so the retained portion has no dwelling on it, it's just fields. They both live on, well, they live on the severed, the daughter lives right there. They want to, I guess, provide some land for their daughter and to keep some themselves. So we had discussed of splitting it other ways, so they both have frontage, so they could eventually do a severance again, but for their situation that they're in now, this was the best option for them, and they were made totally aware of this condition that we're doing here. So, yeah, I agree with you, though, it may not be the best option for future development, they know, but it's in their best interests right now for what they are planning to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Jacob, if the northern part of the retained portion, if at a further date that was sold to somebody else, would they be able to build on that property?
No, the condition stays with the property.
It stays with the property?
Yeah, so as long as, should the township eventually decide to open that road, we could pass a zoning bylaw to allow for it, but it's gonna stay, the zoning of the property stays however it's,
title
yeah,
or whatever it
yeah,
is.
forever. Right.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
But we could, in the future, extend that road a little bit if somebody wanted to build on it, if it was worth our while. So,
Yeah, okay.
any further questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to Z08 2023. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So for this one, the owner, Michel and Mario Longtin, the address 1610 McMaster Road in Dunvegan. So as you can see there, it's just heading east out of Dunvegan, almost to the County Road 34. So that's the official plan designation, agricultural resource lands. Again, here, pretty much surrounded by it. And our zoning layer reflects exactly the same thing. So it's general agricultural, surrounded by agricultural land as well. So the purpose for this application is the typical severance condition. So the retain is being rezoned from general ag to general special exception 228 to prohibit residential development. And the severed portion, it's being rezoned to prohibit agricultural use. So right there, as you can see, so it's, hold on, I just want, yeah, so 51 acres. So they're severing off approximately 2 acres of land. So where my little pink box is right there. Both properties have frontage on McMaster Road. Right there. So there's currently, according to our papers, there's only one entrance that you see there for the dwelling. There is, however, another entrance because it's all flat right to the road. So the tractors can access their fields wherever they want. The counties had made a comment saying they will not allow for an entrance on their road for the field, but they could always apply for another, like the farmer could always apply for another entrance on McMaster Road. We would most likely allow it. On the picture that you see there, so there's the house where the civic number is. The 2 agricultural buildings have been demolished and the 2 containers are gone. So the property is all cleaned up. I have a picture later, but anyway, there's just the dwelling left on the property. So this one here, yeah, pretty straightforward. There's 51 acres, 2 are being severed, and all the property lines are being created in order to respect all our zoning bylaws, so there's no reduction or anything requested here. That's the house that you see there, so the barn used to be at the back, the containers, that's all gone. So that's what's there today. That picture is from a couple weeks ago. And I think I have, yeah, right there. So that's, you see the house there is where the trees are, the civic number on your left-hand side. So as you can see, there's already like some type of an entrance for the field. I think it's just being used by the farmer. It's not a legal entrance, but it could be easily made legal and have a civic number for the fields. And same thing here. So as you know, surplus dwellings are permitted to be severed from the original farm. So just a quick note on on that. I think you have all heard of the new PPS policies there that are maybe being proposed. So until the new PPS is out, we're still gonna do exactly that. So until, like you have seen what the counties are sending theirs, until anything gets passed, we'll have to do these things. So there's gonna be no middle ground. It's gonna be all that like we did since 2020. Or if something change, I'll let council know, but I may do a little presentation at the next committee of the whole meeting, just to explain what that's all about. But anyway, this is still in effect for now and nothing changes. And again here, so the proposed zoning amendment conforms to the policies of the SDG official plan, consistent with the PPS and compliant with our zoning bylaw. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. I'll ask the mayor, oh, sorry, the mayor. I'll ask the CAO.
Does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application this evening? Second time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application this evening? And a third and final time?
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on this file? Okay, seeing none. We will move on to Z09 2023. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the owner for this file, Mr. Benjamin Lavigne, the address 2825 Hope We Met Road in Glen Robertson. So as you see here, it's right at the boundary of our township between Glen Robertson and Glen Sandfield. So right there. So the official plan, again here, agricultural resource lands in the middle of agricultural resource lands as well. And here again, our zoning designation reflects exactly the same. So it's all agricultural properties around. So the purpose for this application, again, it's the typical prohibit, but this one on the severed portion, so on the portion that's going to be made residential. So of course, we're prohibiting the agricultural use, but we're also acknowledging the interior side yard setback deficiency from 6 meter to the proposed 1 meter for the accessory storage building. So I'll show it on the map. So this is your the entire property. The pink portion is being severed off. So that's the pink portion right here. So the barn, I think I'll show it on the survey. There you go. So this here is, so that's the survey, Councillor Massey. So that's what's required for every severance, exactly that. So as you can see right there, the shed, they call it the shed barn, there's only a 1 meter setback to the property line. Now, the shed is being kept with the residential dwelling, so is the other garage and the other small shed. That property will have an entrance, so the current driveway that you'll see in the picture that you see on the right-hand side there leading to the garage. And then the part 2 that you see there, the other kind of new part, so this will be a right-of-way to access that shed barn, and it would also be the entrance or the driveway for the field. So there's 2 existing entrances for the property right now. One is going to be kept for the dwelling, for the residential portion, and the other one will be for the field. But this portion will be used as a right-of-way also for the residential dwelling. So that's going to be on title. It's another condition, but that's why part 2 exists, basically. It's for the existing driveway, and the request for the setback is for the shed to that legal right-of-way. So that's what you have there. Right there, so 51 acres, 2.81 are being severed. There's going to be a change of use required for the existing barn. I believe the permit application's already applied for. Reduction to existing entrance. I'll just show the picture right here. So that's the entrance that you have leading to the residential garage. And then there's the house in gray there. And just left of the house, you see that bigger building. So with the color of the sky, it's a bit hard to see. But there's a bigger building there, higher than what required in our accessory storage building. So that's why, because it's at only 1 meter, we're requesting for a reduction in the interior side for that building. All the other buildings are compliant with the zoning bylaw requirement setback. Same thing here, so that's a surplus dwelling, and this one as well conforms to the PPS, conforms to the SDG official plan, consistent with PPS and compliant with the zoning bylaw. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Jacob. Madam CEO.
Does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application this evening? A second time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application this evening? And a third and final time?
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Is this property squared off, or is it, because it shows
Yeah, this.
taken off on?
This here, so it's not squared off like that. This is just for information purposes. The real that's the shape of the
that's it
property.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It's refreshing to see the lot a little larger. No lollipop there. That's good.
Why?
And
Yeah.
the same with the last one.
Yeah, well, yours, like, I don't know, before, like, they were smaller, and we're seeing more and more, some, like, this one is 2.81 acres, I think, and we're seeing more 3 acres and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so, yeah.
Good, thank you.
Okay, further questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move on to Z10 2023. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So same owner for that one, Monsieur Benjamin Lavigne. Location is 22285 Saint-Anne Road, which is also County Road 21 in Glen Robertson. So right there, proximity of the other one, so again, just east of Glen Sandfield. OP designation, ag resource lands, and same thing for our zoning layer. So zone agricultural, and there is some floodplain also. So the purpose for that one, retained portion prohibit residential development, and on the severed portion, so kind of the same thing, we're prohibiting agricultural use, but we're also acknowledging the rear yard setback from, here it's 15 is required. We're acknowledging the proposed 3.11 for the accessory building, and for the interior side, from the required 6 to the proposed 3 for the same building. So that's the property. So I'll show it right there. So the property line is similar to what it's going to be. It just follows a natural drain that's there. So the property follows the drain and then squared off at the barn, and that's where we're requesting for the setbacks. So the land area for that one, 105 acres. We're severing off 2.82. Again, here, change of use required on the existing barn shed structure, reduction on the interior and rear. And there is also 2 entrances for that property. So one for the existing residential building, and there's one also on the west, I think it's on the east. Anyway, there's another entrance for the field, for the newly created property as well. So that's our survey. So you don't see the numbers, but the building that you see on the top left corner, so that's what we're requesting, the reduction in the side yard. So the rear from 15 to 3.11, and the interior side from 6 to 3 meters. So that's the survey that's been done for this property. That's the picture of the property. So the building we're discussing for the reduction is that green and white building at the back, and the dwelling is right there on your right. And so the drain that you see there is pretty much going to be the future property line. So it's going to follow that, and then jug to the right, and that's going to be your new residential properties. And as you can see, it's field. The other property is just fields. And again, surplus dwelling property. So this one, zoning amendment conforms to the policies of the SDG official plan, consistent with the PPS, and it's compliant with our zoning bylaw. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Jacob. Madam CEO.
Does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application this evening? Second time, does anyone wish to speak in favor or against the application this evening? And a third and final time.
Thank you. Any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, Jacob, for your reports. Adjournment, Councillor Martin.
There being no further, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley. There being no further business to discuss, the public meeting of planning was adjourned at 5:55 p.m.
Thank you. All those in favor? Motion is carried. We'll take a 5-minute break, and we will go into the regular meeting of council. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our meeting of Tuesday, May 23rd. Welcome to all members of council, the public, and staff. If I could ask everyone to please stand for the national anthem. Thank you, everyone. I will call the meeting to order. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, accept the agenda. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the agenda of the regular meeting of Council on May the 23rd, 2023.
Thank you. Any additions or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. None opposed. Moving on to the adoption of the previous minutes. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell, that the minutes of the following meeting be adopted as circulated. Regular meeting of council, April 24th, 2023.
Thank you, Councillor. Any discussion, errors, or omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. There are none opposed. Moving on to delegations. I'd like to welcome Richard Kerr from the Friends of the Glengarry Trails Association. Welcome, Richard.
Thank you. Thank you all councilors for this opportunity to speak to you about a matter that is dear to my heart and many of you here. As you know, the Friends of Glengarry Trails has been here for about 24 years, and the generosity of the members, the volunteers, have brought the development and maintenance of trails to this area. The FGTA is a volunteer group. Our mission statement is to develop and maintain and promote trails in Glengarry and to foster appreciation of the natural heritage of Glengarry. FGTA has an excellent working relationship with the Township of North Glengarry through the representation of one of your councillors, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, on our board of directors. We thank council for its continuing support. We also have a partnership with the Raisin Region Conservation Authority through representation on our board with the staff person, Matthew Levac. The trails are located west of Alexandria, beginning at the boardwalk at the end of Lohiel Street, and continuing to the Lakeshore Road where it crosses the Garry River. The trails are in the watershed of the Garry River, which is the source water of Alexandria and Maxville. So the focus for me tonight is on the area of woodlands and wetlands that is owned by the Township of North Glengarry I see a map on the screen. So we're looking at, it's kind of a rectangle on a slope, and you see Lakeshore Road cutting.
This whole area here. Is that correct?
Yeah, now that's the part that is north of Lakeshore Road, but also south of Lakeshore Road is also township property. So both of those areas are in what's been designated already as an area of significant scientific interest. And before we developed the trails, there was an environmental assessment done. And as you know, there's many advantages to North Glengarry for these trails. It brings recreation possibilities for local people and for tourists. And this area also is particularly important for the good water quality of the township. So the goals tonight are two. The first one is to address the need for further protection of the woodlands and wetlands and protection of the natural heritage and wildlife habitat there. And the second goal is to ensure long-term access for the public to the area via the trails. There have been preliminary discussions with partners Raisin Region, Philip Duncan of the Forestry Department of the counties, Peter Young of the Planning Department of the counties, and we asked the Township of North Glengarry to support the goal in principle, these two goals in principle, and to work with the partners. We plan to investigate options and select legal methods and forms that will have additional protections and ensure public access to trails, and to make a plan that would be brought back to council. And that's all I have to say now, and I'd welcome any questions you might have.
Thank you, Richard. Are there any questions or comments from, go ahead, Deputy Mayor Williams.
At first glance, it sounds like a good idea to me. I'm just wondering, what lands as a whole are you looking at acquiring? Where's the private lands and where's the?
Should I come up there, or Jeff, maybe you can just indicate. So at this point, there's nothing about acquiring.
This piece in here, that is all township land.
Okay.
That piece up there and then all the way here, and then south of the road down here.
And Raisin Region?
No, Raisin Region does not own any of that land.
They don't?
It's all township land.
That was all the land that was turned over to us in my first term from.
But it talks also about privately owned
There is some
land.
privately owned, so like this, I believe this lot here
I
is
see.
privately owned.
Correct, yeah.
And this lot here will
Oh.
be privately owned.
So are you in conversation with those property owners at this point, or that's early?
The preliminaries are to the extent of, because there's no intention necessarily to do any purchasing. What we're wanting to do is to work with the present ownership, like the township itself, and with the present landowner. They haven't indicated that they wish to sell, but they can actually benefit by retaining ownership and getting tax benefits because it is a designated wetland. However, we would like to be able to have conversations about the long term so that this can be secured for 99 years, let's say, for the public, the whole region, basically.
Makes sense to me, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments? Councillor Cadell.
Mr. Mayor, Richard, do you plan on building new trails through those areas? Is that the idea?
It could be a possibility. At the moment, there are trails already in that area, quite extensively, and there's boardwalk in that area as well. So there may be some small additional trails to connect in that area.
Okay, Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Richard, for your presentation. I think maybe if we could ask staff to go away or whatever and come back with something for us to have a look at a later date, and I know Richard would like to sort of be involved with that too, or whatever, and is that something that we think we can?
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So certainly I know Jacob and I have discussed this a little bit. I know he was involved in some preliminary conversations. I've also had some preliminary conversations with Anne as well. So certainly we can bring something back. I know that we had spoken about whether it be some sort of council resolution, some sort of commitment from council that we continue the partnership with the trails. I think that was kind of the concern at the time. And then we can also speak to RRCA and the county as well around some of the wildlife protection and what can happen with that.
Okay. Further questions or comments? So Richard, looks like we'll get staff to work on this and come back with something. And we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you and Councillor Manley and the rest of the board of directors for keeping the trails going. It's a wonderful asset to North Glengarry, and we really appreciate all the work. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the 2022 financial audit report. Welcome, Ken Fraser from Welch LLP.
Good evening, everyone. It's good to see everyone again, and some new faces, and a new building. I hadn't been in here before, so very nice. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ken Fraser. I'm a partner with Welch LLP in Cornwall, and we're the auditors for the township, external auditors. And I'm here tonight to review the draft audited financial statements. Hopefully everybody has a copy in front of them. I also have a brief presentation which kind of refers back to the draft. So if there's any questions at any point in time, please feel free to ask. So status of the audit. We've completed the audit. There's only 2 items left to be cleared for us to release the final version of the financial statements on our letterhead. One is approval of the draft financials by council resolution, which will hopefully take place tonight. And second is receipt of the representation letter signed by both the CAO and the treasurer. As you'll note, the financials are stamped draft until approved by council. Pages 2 and 3 of the draft financial statements includes our independent auditor's report. As in past years, it is a qualified opinion. We were unable to confirm insurance proceeds receivable that were recorded in, I think about 5 years ago, as the insurance would not confirm the amount. So it is a qualified opinion. Apart from that, it is a clean opinion. You'll note on page 3, it's dated today, which is our expected date of approval. So turning to page 4, statement of financial position. This lists the financial assets, financial liabilities, non-financial assets, and accumulated surplus of the township as at December 31st, 2022. Financial assets comprised of cash, property taxes receivable, and other accounts receivable, and total $9,249,841, up approximately $800,000 over 2021. Financial liabilities include trade accounts payable, accrued benefits owing to employees, deferred revenue, an accrued liability for landfill and municipal debt, totaling $13,197,818, up approximately $260,000 over the year before. Net financial liabilities, if you're looking at the slide, it's just the first line less the second line, $3,947,977, down approximately $550,000 from 2022. Non-financial assets are mainly comprised of tangible capital assets. That's the township's roads, buildings, land, equipment, recorded at cost less accumulated amortization in accordance with PSAB standards. So total non-financial assets, 81,490,366. Adding the third and fourth line gives us our accumulated surplus, 77,542,389, up approximately 3.3 million from 2021. Statement of operations. This lists the operating revenues, operating expenditures, and other capital-related revenues. Total operating revenues for 2022 amounted to 14,823,368, up approximately 300,000 from 2021. Operating expenditures, 14,781,270, up approximately 600,000 from 2021. Net operating surplus amounted to $42,098, lower than 2021, but still higher than our adjusted budgeted figures. If you're following along, sorry, it should be you should be looking at the middle column, which is the actual amounts. Capital-related revenues, those are capital grants received, as well as gain on sale of properties during the year. Total together gives us an overall annual surplus of $3,326,603, up approximately 200,000 from 2021. So I'm not going to go through all the notes. I'll leave that for you to read at night. Turning to page 12.
Just want to point out just on that page, the Schedule 1, page 19, I think that's good news. Tax arrears, percentage of total levy is down from 11% to 8%, so that's good.
Yeah, that's excellent. It's been the lowest ever. So I wanted to give my commendations to administration and especially the treasurer. I think back in 2015, it was at 20%.
Yep.
So
That's great.
great news. Just going over some of the notes, note 8, tangible capital assets. That lists all the breakdown of all the amounts by category. You'll see total cost, $136,021,748 invested. We've depreciated 54,738 of that, leaving us a net book value of 81,282,988. There was a little over $6.5 million invested in tangible capital assets in 2022, including this property, a large upgrade to a GSP, and I saw that you guys bought a couple of snowplows. Page 14, note 10, just gives us a breakdown of accumulated surplus. The only thing I really wanted to touch on was the reserve and reserve funds. They total $7,528,822, up approximately $570,000 from the year before. So, as an auditor, I always like seeing reserves going up. Means that the township's in a strong financial basis. And on page 18, note 16, is expenses by object. On the statement of operations, it broke down the expenses by segment. This shows the breakdown by object, largest of which is wages and benefits. I know I went over that fairly quickly. Are there any questions?
Any questions or comments from anyone? Yeah, go ahead, Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to follow on your comment about taxes, something when I was reading it the other day, which we talk about the overall, which is always interesting. We're down to 8%, which is fantastic. Something that our treasurer had mentioned to me previously, anything that is arrears is our responsibility. So the school board gets theirs, county gets theirs.
That's right.
So in reality, that 8% translates to something like I forget what the exact number, I think it was 20%.
Well, it's on the statement of financial position. It's 1,2,053,377.
And it represents something like 25%, 20%? We're at 20%, I think.
Well, we always look at the total levy because the township, as you indicated, has to collect the school taxes as well as the county taxes. So, you know, of the overall taxes, there's 8% is that 1.2 million.
We use that as the baseline, I mean.
Yep.
Can use any
No,
baseline.
and I just wanted to make the point, I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting that
Just
it's always our
thought that you'd want to be the
responsibility,
Grim
so-
Reaper, or?
No, it's great that it's gotten down to that point. It's still a significant chunk of our
Yeah,
budget.
if you look at the cash implications, though, to your point, Councillor Madden, it's 8% of the total levy, but as you're pointing out, we give 60% of that away. So the
Yeah.
8% is actually more significant than 8% of
Yes,
cash.
to us.
Yes,
That's the only
we
point I
should
was
change that
making.
in legislation, but.
Agreed. I have some people that agree with that.
Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you, Ken, for your report. And, well, are we passing something tonight? Okay, perfect. Yeah, right there.
Matthews first.
Yeah. You want to do it first?
No, Matthews first.
Oh, Matthews first, okay. Okay, moving on to staff reports. Fire Department, Open Air Burn Bylaw 16-2023. Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Manley, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry adopts the new open-air burn bylaw 16-2023, and that the council read a first, second, third time and enacted in open council this 23rd day of May 2023, and that bylaw 36-2021 be rescinded.
Thank you, Councillor. Welcome again, Jacob. Not you? Oh, sorry. Chief Roy. Yeah. Oh,
Thank you,
sorry.
Mr. Mayor. As indicated, the report in front of the council tonight is for, to make changes to the current open-air fire bylaw. So, since the adoption of the recent and current bylaw 36/2021, the fire department conducted a review along with recently with the rural committee, where the rural committee invited the department to sit in the month of April and May to discuss some of the changes and positive aspects of our current bylaw and the significant improvement that we've seen throughout the township by having these implemented changes. So along with that, there was some positive discussions for and against the current bylaw, and some proposals that were made, put forward. So the department took those proposals away, and this is what we have in front of council this evening is some of those changes to the current bylaw. So currently I'm proposing some changes to section 5.3 of the bylaw, which would now read, burning shall not be permitted between the months of July 1st and August 31st, as well as section 2.7, that the fire chief may declare a dry period on a specific type of recreational or brush or farm or agricultural. So the real changes here is, as council is aware, is that currently there is no burning from the months of June 1st through to October 15th for agriculture and farm. So some of these changes is that we're going to still be able to control the actual permits and still have the ability to restrict the specific type of burn. So, however, also allowing there may be specific areas that can be permitted to burn. So this is something that was brought forward, and some of the concerns that were brought forward from the rural committee is that the agricultural committee was somewhat restricted, where some areas may be, maybe more significant and more able to have some open air burns. So currently, I'm in favor of the changes that were proposed, and this is what council has before them this evening is those changes. We also made a few administrative changes to accommodate our new burn system permit. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Chief Roy. Questions or comments? Councilor
Thank
Massey.
you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Matt. I know in the last 2 meetings of the Rural Ag Committee, we had some very good discussions between the ag community and some of the people that are concerned about the fire bylaw. And just to reassure everyone that even though we're now permitting in June and September, if the fire is deemed or is going to be deemed problematic, like you're not going to accept, like you're not going to grant the permit. Like if it's close to a small community, close to a neighbor's house or something, and so it's just to reassure everybody that we're not just going all out here. It's still got to go through the permit process, and if you deem it not advisable, you're not going to issue the permit.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. That's correct. The bylaw does have significant conditions, and also it also allows the fire chief to impose additional conditions for the agricultural community should we deem after an inspection that either you have to restrict them or remove the permit or whatever the case may be. So exactly to your point is that in certain areas they may be feasible to burn in June, where some certain areas in close-knit hamlets or whatever, it may not be feasible. So this is where the responsibility is going to lie on the department. However, yes, we are complaint-driven, and but we do have the measures within this bylaw to deal with any situation that does come to light. We also made some changes within the some of the charge sections of this bylaw, where some of the penalties were increased, as well as some changes to the different types of permits, where it would be more feasible for fines from a recreational permit versus an agricultural. So you would see some of those set fines changed.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, thanks for this, Matt. It's good to see, the flexibility of the department and the thinking of the Rural Committee, coming together and sort of saying, okay, this is too restrictive, let's add a little bit of flexibility into this and really allow it to work, you to be able to get the safety you need, meanwhile representing the interests of both the agricultural community and the public in general. It's good to see. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just, to reiterate, the discussion was extensive on all of this. Very impressive were Matt and Sarah with their knowledge of the entire bylaw and all the implications, and it was very clear cut that this was a very good way to go.
Great.
Thank you.
So yeah, I'd like to just commend the chief and Sarah and the Rural Ag Committee or Rural Affairs Committee for bringing this forward. It's this is what the committee structure is about. It's doing the heavy lifting on the committee and then bringing it to council where it makes it easy for us. And it's well researched, and I think it's we'll see how it goes. That's what we do is we test the waters and see how things go. But I think this is going to work very well. Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Moving on to the Treasury Department 2022 audited financial statements. Councillor Manley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Move by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry accepts the 2022 audited financial statements as presented by Ken Fraser of Welsh LLP, Chartered Professional Accountants, at open council this 23rd day of May 2023.
Thank you, Councillor. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately, the treasurer is not available to attend this evening. You did hear the presentation from Ken. I did want to echo his sentiments that certainly the audit went very well from what I understand, and that both Kim and Viv are very much working through the arrears, and they can be definitely commended for bringing that down. And if there are any questions, certainly if council reviews the statements, there are questions to come, that, you know, you can certainly reach out to myself or the treasurer. I also want to thank the auditors for expediting this. I know that we've been trying to get the audit done earlier in the year. It allows for changeover of records, and also that people are more familiar with the information, and that our FIR will be submitted on time this year. So that's the first time, I think, ever in North Glengarry history. So congrats to everyone.
Usually when it's good news, we like it early. When it's bad news, we like it during the summer months when nobody's listening. I'm just kidding, Steve Warburton, if you're listening. Okay, any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Moving on to Planning, Building, and Bylaw Enforcement Department, consent application B13622. Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Martin, that the council passes a resolution required for consent application B136-2022 for the retained portion to be exempt from having frontage on an open and maintained road allowance as per official plan, section 8.12.13.12.
Thank you, Councillor. Jacob.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Looking for the chief.
So this is part of the presentation I did at a public meeting of planning earlier. So one of the conditions for that severance is that council pass a resolution saying that they are in favor of the lot creation, even though it doesn't have frontage on an open road allowance. So it's one of the conditions that this lot can be created. So we're just looking for the resolution for that, and we'll send that to the counties. So it'll be one of the conditions that they have to fulfill. That'll be compliant. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Perfect. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, Public Works Department, large item pickup continuation. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Deputy Mayor Williams, that the council approves the full implementation of the large item pickup program for 2023 at a cost of $30 for the initial pickup and $10 per cubic meter thereafter.
Perfect. Thank you. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we ran a large item pickup pilot program last year, and that was met very, very well by the public, and has attracted a lot of other attention from other townships since. It's been a good compromise to balance the costs while also providing a service to our residents to pick up those large items. So it ran for 4 months. Unfortunately, it didn't actually end up being cost neutral, but it was very, very low cost. So we received almost $1,600 in revenue, and including scrap metal, and we had about $3,000 in expenses. A lot of those are the fixed expense of the dumpster, and we had to rent another one close to the end, and those are a big chunk of cost, right? So we did utilize that and utilize it in our rare plant, because as we separate the tin cans and that sort of stuff from the garbage, we use a dumpster there as well. But we wanted to record everything accurately. So there's very tight kind of margins to get this to break even properly. One of the other problems that we ran into, that we expected to be able to use more junior staff, but due to a retirement and some sickness, we had to use some more senior staff there who cost more per hour. So our recommendation for the $30 for initial pickup and $10 per cubic meter thereafter is based upon using that more senior staff, because that we always know we can get the large item pickup done, because not all of the more junior staff are fully trained and capable of doing that task. And this is utilizing staff at the rare plant. So Yeah, so that's why we put our recommendation together for $30 for the initial pickup and $10 per cubic meter thereafter. We're recommending, if you look at the overall cost, $1,500 to run a large item pickup program is pretty good compared to most townships that are, spending from $40,000 to $60,000 for large item pickup programs. So yeah, we think it's a very good option. If we want to continue it, then I suggest that we move to this new pricing, or if we want to subsidize it slightly, we could modify that pricing as well. So that's the gist of it. If I've got
Okay, Councillor Manley.
Thanks for this, Tim. I've heard lots of positive things about the program, pilot program we ran last year or whatever. So my only concern with putting the price up is, are we going to sort of deter people from, it's that balance or whatever. Personally, I would like to see us try to keep it at $20 plus the 10, same price as it was last year or whatever. That's my personal opinion on this.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Tim.
Sorry, through you, Mr. Mayor. I should clarify as well, was as we see, one thing that we didn't do at the pilot program is we did no advertising apart from a small post on Facebook. So if we were to run it again, and we did an actual full advertisement, we are expecting a lot more people, especially there have been people already calling and asking if we're going to do the program again. So my recommendation is just so that we stay safely within that, break-even point. All I want to say is that if we did run it at the same cost, it's a bit more risky, but in that we might end up spending $1,000 again. But I don't think it's unreasonable to think that we would break even with the pricing for the original pilot as well.
Deputy Mayor Williams.
Okay, thank you, Tim. Was going to be my next question is, so if there's more users, will it become, pay for itself quicker? And that's, because I really needed a course in that little, math diagram that you did there. I was thinking a little tutor would have been good. Anyway, but yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. In which case, I think, take a little bit of risk, keep the program more affordable, and more people will use it. I agree with Jeff. Sorry, Councillor Manley.
Just by a show of a nod of heads, would we agree at going at the lower price, or would you prefer to go to the 30 lower price?
Sorry, I was good with lower or status quo.
You guys, go ahead.
I had a question on this.
Go ahead. Put your microphone on.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The motion is for 30. It looks like the calculations were done with 35.
Yes, I noticed that I updated the calculations and then forgot to copy paste my new table in there.
So it's done at 30.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I needed to make sure we're, if our worst case scenario is, say, $1,500 as an expense to make sure we don't have dumping or, abandonment, we'll call it. Yeah, I'm fine with staying at the same. I mean, uptake was good. As you said, there was no advertising. I think going lower is you're asking everybody to shoulder the burden that people are trying to get rid of their stuff. So I think 20 plus 10 is very fair.
Yep.
Very fair. Very fair.
Go ahead.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. Mike Madden does bring up a very good point in that we did actually really see a reduction in illegal dumping. I wasn't here in 2021, but just reports from our frontline staff who deal with the illegal dumping, it did seem to have an effect. So.
Okay. Further questions or comments on this? All those in favor of the motion? Oh, sorry, as amended? $20. for the initial pickup and $10 per cubic meter thereafter. The mover, Gary Martin, and the seconder, Cameron Williams, are both good with that? Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. None opposed. Okay, moving on to award of sewer lining tender, Deputy Mayor Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Massey, that the township of North Glengarry receive staff report number PW 2023-23, award sewer lining tender PW 2023-08, and the Council of the Township of North Glengarry authorizes the award of the tender for the sewer lining to Clean Water Works, Inc. to complete the sanitary sewer relining for $88,357.32 plus HST, which was approved as part of the 2023 capital budget.
Thank you. Tim?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So every year we do some sewer lining in our two towns with sewer systems. And this year we've identified, if you happen to look at the report that was attached, we had some very bad sections through this area that runs to the main station. So we put this tender out actually very early in the year. It was out in February. And the results came back, and if you have a look at the results on the table, this Clean Water Works was actually a very competitive price, and we took our time to go back to Clean Water Works and met them on site several times to ensure that they'd included for absolutely everything in this. And it looks like Clean Water Works was struggling to kind of fill their workload for this year. So I say that to prepare everybody we're not always going to get good pricing like this in the future. So it was very good pricing, and we put the reason that we had a primary and a provisional price was we didn't actually think that we'd be able to fit in the provisional price, but if we could get it, we were going to try. We're very, very happy with the price. We're convinced that they're included everything that we want. And it's very important work to go ahead. This section is down by kind of the outlet of the Garry River, I would say, at the back of Alexandria. So when the water gets quite high, because there's damage to these pipes, we get a lot of water infiltration there, which affects our lagoon capacity. So it's one of those, and this is quite a fair size pipe, and it's right before the main station. So this is probably a major, source of infiltration for the system, and we think it'll have quite a large effect if we're able to, in the relative to sewer lining projects, we think it'll have quite a significant effect on our influence to the lagoon. So we're very happy, and and it's within budget. So we're looking for approval.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Tim. Any questions or comments? Councillor Madden?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tim, just a curiosity, between 60 and 70, that section was done a couple of years ago. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was right about the orientation. I saw that go in, that liner. If anybody has a chance when this is going on, it's kind of neat. I'm a little bit of a geek about this stuff, but
no.
It was shush. Thank you very much.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd be very happy to geek out with you. Thank you.
Well, I don't know where to go with this now. Yeah. Am I turning red? Okay. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, none opposed. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Cadell, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry receive the items from the consent agenda for information purposes only.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Motion is carried, none opposed. Moving on to new business, A, Ad Hoc Rural Education Committee. Councillor Cadell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Madden, that the Council of the Township of North Glengarry appoints Councillor Jeff Manley to the STNG Ad Hoc Rural Education Committee.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
Did you agree to that?
Yes.
I did agree to that, and I'm, with the announcement that has been made, I'm hoping that it's probably not going to be as extensive a task or whatever over the next 4 years, with the board saying they're not going to be closing schools, so.
Yeah.
Think whatever you want.
I know.
Yeah, we still gotta go. All those in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, one opposed. I'm kidding, none opposed. Notice of motion, next regular public meeting is Monday, June 26, 2023, 6 p.m. here in the council chambers. Question period. Anybody in the audience have a question? Nothing at all, eh? Okay. And we will be going in closed session. Just this morning we met at the skateboard park to make an announcement with the federal government, and I think I'll let Mike maybe speak to it and give a little bit of plug to the fundraising efforts that are going on. I'd like to put you on the spot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, no, that's all good. So we were able to announce the $275,000 project. Sorry, $275,000 from the feds. $100,000 fundraising from the community, of which $55,000 has been raised to date. So there's a $45,000 portion that the committee, the skate park committee, will be hitting the streets and appealing to businesses and the community to support this project. To put it in perspective, the first stage was 2008, came online. Since then, it was, at that time actually, it was discussed there would be 2 additional phases. So this actually takes care of both of those phases. This will be completely built out, completely done. The plans are, I'm not a skater, but they're pretty spectacular. So it will be a done deal. It will all be finished, and there will be a fantastic facility for anybody and everybody in the community to enjoy and watch and participate. So we hope the businesses will heed the call, shall we say, and support. I will say that one of my companies is going to contribute $2,000 to the fundraising. Lakeside Green Environmental will do that. So if there's anybody else that I'm not going to make eye contact with anybody right now, wishes to make any announcements. Well, I should challenge the mayor, I suppose, to at least double my contribution. Sorry, that might be a bit much. But thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, and I will match your contribution. Okay. Well, thank you, Councillor Madden. Okay, and other than that, just want to make an announcement that the landfill summer hours have begun Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 3485 County Road 23, just outside of Glen Robertson. So if you can bring your all your trash and treasures there directly. And I think that's it, unless anybody else has. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I may have mentioned once previously, but we won't have another meeting until after. June 24th in Alexandria, there is a community yard sale that has apparently been sanctioned by the municipality. I'm looking at Jacob. So anybody and everybody in and around Alexandria, if you're putting out a table, if you're offering things for sale, you will not need an additional permit, is my understanding. And correct me if I'm wrong on that. So 24th of June. There you go.
Deputy Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Maxville Market is now open as of last Friday at the King George Park from 2 to 6 every Friday. And there were a fair number of vendors there last Friday. And anyone who's interested in joining the market, can contact the Maxwell District Chamber of Commerce, and hoping for a good season.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Oh, yes, Councillor Martin.
While we're doing announcements, the Maxwell Fair is the weekend of the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of June. And I believe, is Maxwell not doing a community yard sale on the 24th as well?
Yeah, I don't know the date.
I think it's the 24th as well, so it's a whole North Glengarry maybe, community yard sale.
Perfect. Can Councillor Madden, would you like to announce your backyard barbecue and free alcohol night? Oh, is that a no? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, we will be moving into closed session, so thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you staff for your great reports, and thank you for anyone attending here and watching from home. Have a good week. Thank you.